Well, the explosions are relentless. Here on the Israeli border with Gaza, the bombardment has continued without pause throughout the day and night. 4 people died today when an Israeli shell hit an Al-Aqsa hospital, while officials claim that more than 30 members of one family died in a single blast. Another 7 Israeli soldiers have also been killed, but Israel insists its mission cannot end until the threat of Hamas tunnels and rocket attacks is removed. But the impact of this war is growing too desperate to bear. In a moment, we'll be hearing from our foreign affairs correspondent, Jonathan Miller. He's just 5 miles behind me in Gaza. But here, how is this war being perceived in Israel? For many, there is a sense that they are a nation constantly under attack, facing an enemy in Hamas which is intent on destroying them. There have been cheers here in Israel as shells land across the border, some settlers setting up camp on these very hillsides to watch the bombing. Elsewhere, Israel's military says it's killed 10 Hamas militants after they entered Israel across cross-border tunnels from Gaza. But within Israel, there are also voices calling for peace. Out along Israel's border with Gaza, the military are digging for tunnels. Early this morning, a Palestinian surfaced right here, ran hundreds of yards and was shot dead in the trees by Israeli soldiers. They shot 9 others who came after him. Israeli soldiers found his tunnel stretching deep into their territory. They set their charges and detonated months, if not years, of manual toil. Tunnels designed, according to Israel's military, to enable Hamas to take their fight to the forces ranged against them. On the hillocks all along the Israeli side of this brutal border, groups of spectators. They stand, they find chairs, even bringing their own sofa to view events below along the border. A front row seat as if to view a sporting event, yet laced with the sound of artillery and the stench of cordite. Daniel Amos was born here, lived in London, and is recently returned. How will it end?
Well, nobody can tell. Nobody can tell.
But you might go home to London?
Probably, yeah.
Close by, Israeli soldiers await orders. They tell me they expect to be sent in on the ground. For now, they guard this neat town of Sderot, daubed with graffiti that reads, "Death to Arabs." At Sderot's bus station, they wait for both buses and bombs. An old lady complains of the constant air raid warnings. Yet in complete contrast, this elderly couple is simply happy to be catching a bus to see their grandchildren. Then here was the student, her college closed, crying for Israel's soldiers.
We are facing with terrorists that just want to kill us. And they say that we kill innocent civilians, but we don't do this purpose. We do this because Hamas is using its own people, children, to fight our soldiers. And if civilians in Gaza are dead, it is not because we want.
The siren and a desultory drift to the bomb shelters. Soon over, and they all emerge again, unwilling to talk. Back at the border, the Israeli Defense Force release a declassified image of what they say is evidence of a barrage of Hamas rockets, fired, they say, from Wafa Hospital in Gaza. On the ground, Israel begins her expansion of their war effort, mobilizing armored personnel carriers in the dust. On the highway, vast fortified bulldozers whose blades are caked in the earth of earlier conflicts move up to the front, and more armored troop carriers to take forces in on the ground. Here in Sderot this evening, a preemptive victory parade. Flags, horns and shouts of "The people of Israel live"